we go to our aux track that we created way back in the beginning of our session. We're going to set the input to a bus. I'm just going to use 2324. We're going to select a free reverb that I like using. We're going to go to air, and we're going to use air reverb. Why not? Over here on the send section, we're going to go to bus 2324, and we're going to give our bus some signal. Quick tip on using aux tracks: hitting command and clicking on the solo button. Solo safes it, which means if you solo this vocal track, the reverb stays on. So there you have it. That's how you use sends in Pro Tools. Now in this session, we're using a master track, and that's all well and good, but I'm going to demonstrate why maybe not using a master track is more beneficial. So I'm going to pull up my favorite compressor, and I'm going to set it just to kind of an extreme setting so we really hear what it's doing. So obviously we would never actually do that to our mix bus. It's way too aggressive, but I'm doing this to kind of demonstrate how the master fader reacts in Pro Tools. When I press play, you can see the compression happening here. Now watch what happens when I lower the volume. All of a sudden, we don't have as much compression. That's because this fader is driving that compression. Now, we don't actually want that. In fact, that could be kind of dangerous if, let's say, we want to just listen a little quieter. That could ruin and misguide our mix decisions. The alternate way to do it is to create another aux track. So I'm going to go Shift Command N. Command right arrow to make it stereo, and it's going to be an aux track, so I'm going to go command down arrow to make it an aux, and I'm just going to name it mix bus. I'm going to make the input mix bus. I already have that set up in my IO. You can do that as well by going to setup IO, and you can rename your buses. So now, another great little quick trick. I'm going to go Shift. I'm going to click on the track, Shift click to select those. I don't want to get the MIDI track. It's not really necessary. Command click to add to your selection, and I'm going to hit Shift Option, click on the output of everything, and we're going to go into mix bus. That's going to make it so that our tracks are now going into this guy. So now this is our master fader. Now I'm going to go ahead and move this compressor over here. Look at that compression. It's still going even when I lower the volume. This fader is not dictating how hard we hit the compression. The mix, everything else is dictating how much we go into this compressor. Last but not least, we have the bounce process. So we have this finished mix, let's just call it done. There are a couple ways to do it. There is the file bounce mix, or you can use that command there. I never do, but that's just Option Command B. So bounce mix, this is a new layout in Pro Tools. Now we can have preset ways of bouncing, which could be really helpful. You can have preset 1 through 5. For our purposes, doing it this way is cool. You have the option to name the file, how you're going to bounce it. It could be WAV, AIFF, MP3. This is a more advanced setting that you'll rarely touch on the music side, if ever. And you select where you want to bounce from. I want to bounce from output 1 and 2, or physical output 1 and 2. Doesn't matter, should work the same. Convenient when, let's say, you're working with a client, or you want to quickly bounce something to your phone. You get the WAV, which is, the high quality uncompressed file, and you click Add MP3, and boom, you have an MP3 with that. We're working at 24-bit, 48K. You can do whatever you want there. 16-bit 44.1 is CD quality. If you're mastering something, that's how you want to do it. And you get to select where it bounces. Bounced files is going to be the project folder that your Pro Tools session is created in. There's going to be a folder inside of that called bounce files. If you want to choose somewhere else, you hit choose, and you can go any number of places. If you want Pro Tools, this is also new. If you want Pro Tools to ask you every time you bounce where you want to put it, you hit prompt for location. And then after that, you'll hit bounce and it'll bounce the song for you. Now, I rarely do my bounces this way unless I'm doing something quick, like I'm doing a demo or I'm doing a work in progress and I just want to have it with me or have a quick version. What I tend to do is I tend to print my mix. Now, here's how we do that. So we made this mix bus track, right? So we're going to make an audio track to send that to. So I'm going to hit Shift Command N. I am going to make a stereo audio track, and we're going to call it print. And my input for that is going to be print because I have that preset in my IO. So now my output for my mix bus, my pseudo master in a way, is going to be the print. In order to make this work, we have to monitor and record enable. And, just to be safe, if you go back into the mix, just hit solo safe so that you can solo things and it all still runs through. I should note, you should also always solo safe your mix bus so that you can hit solo on any track and you should be able to hear it. There you go, no problem soloing here. Now the final step would be selecting, in this process would be selecting what you want to record. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to click on the first clip. I'm going to shift click and it's going to record all of that. And you know what? We got a reverb, so let's just extend it. This range, these red arrows indicate what we're going to record. So I'm going to go ahead and hit 3 to record. And now we're printing our mix. Perfect. Now, in order to export this, to have this file, accessible for you, I click on that clip and I hit Shift Command K. That's the command to export. And I can export an MP3, I can export a wave. Basically, I can do everything the same. And this time, I'm going to choose where I want it to go. And let's just go right to the desktop. And when I hit export, it should be pretty instant. Let's just do a wave. Do 24-bit. And here we go. Boom, just exported. So that's it. That is the basic beginner's guide to getting started in Pro Tools from the top.